Hey, howdy, and hello, ladies and gentlemen. Echo here. VALORANT's draw to a lot of people is its unique agents. With 24 agents in the game and a 25th undoubtedly on its way, there's a character who fits just about everyone. In the last video, we took a look at 3 of Riot's scrapped agent concepts and discussed if they would work in today's VALORANT. But the only people more passionate about a game's development than the programmers themselves are the players. So today, instead of viewing unfinished official agent concepts, I thought it would be cool to look over some of the community-made ones. So without further ado, here are the top 3 most crazy and insane VALORANT agent concepts from r/VALORANT. Coming in at our number 3 spot is Raaz, created by Rival Rudra. Hailing from India, just like Harbor, Raaz managed a flourishing trade of Radiant alongside his father. One day, a mishap resulted in a Radiant explosion which killed his entire family, but empowered him with special abilities. He has accepted the past, and now joins the VALORANT protocol with the end goal of becoming the most powerful being in the world. The first piece of utility in Raaz's kit is Psychosis. In practice, this is essentially Omen's paranoia, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. The next ability in Raaz's kit is Bulwark. The creator of this concept described Bulwark as a wall similar to Sage's, but it's transparent and changes size according to where it's placed. It can be shot out and curved around with your crosshairs similar to a Skybird. I quite like this ability actually. If it had less health than a Sage wall but could be used as a projectile that can be thrown around corners without peeking, this could be a really unique hybrid between Deadlock's barrier mesh and Sage's wall. While Sage and Deadlock have to plan site setups and play defensively around them, Raaz could use Bulwark as a more aggressive and on-the-fly defense that could be deployed anywhere at any time. The best way I can describe this is similar to Castle and Azami from Rainbow Six Siege. Castle's armor panels are the first line of defense, and function as difficult to break through barriers that force attackers to slow down, just like Sage's wall. Azami's Kiba barrier is easier to break through, but it can be used throughout the match rather than just at the start, and thus can be adapted to any situation. You're trading strength for mobility. This could be how Raaz's Bulwark would function. Next we have Obscure. Again, this is essentially Jet's Cloudburst, but just a longer duration, so I'm not going to spend that much time on it. Raaz's ultimate ability, and really the ability that got Raaz on this top 3, is Third Eye. For 6 ultimate ability points, Raaz can see through the eyes of a random enemy's vision for a brief period. I think this is so cool as an ultimate, and I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been done yet. Now, don't worry, while this might seem crazy, there is some balancing in place. Raaz is vulnerable while using the Third Eye. Personally, I imagine this is something similar to Astra meditating while smoking, but the artist doesn't go into any further detail. On top of this, enemies affected by the Third Eye will get an indicator stating such. This ultimate seems balanced enough that it would be viable, but strong enough to be considered an ultimate. Honestly, the only other balancing I personally would do would be upping it from 6 ability points to 7, but that's just my opinion. With all that being said, let's take a look at our number 2 agent. Coming in at our second place spot is the agent Quantum, created by Dewey Otter. Emerging from deep within the shadows of Kingdom, the rogue operative Quantum creates opportunity through bringing uncertainty on the battlefield. Forcing caution through his presence, capitalizing on carelessness in the heat of engagement is Quantum's modus operandi. Quantum's first ability is Paradox. With 2 charges, Paradox summons a destructible clone that can either be placed in a stationary position, such as holding an angle, or can be set to move along a path. This is similar to Yoru's Fake Out, except the stationary aspect allows you to place a clone in angles where people will shoot first and ask questions later, giving you valuable information on where an enemy is, should they fall for your tricks. The artist for this concept actually photoshopped images of what the abilities would look like in real play. As you can see by the image, Quantum's clones can be quite deceiving depending on where they're placed. Quantum's second ability is Rift. Open up a breach in space that Quantum can, at any time, travel back to. The rift lasts 20 seconds. This is similar to Yoru's gate crash, except Yoru's gate crash can only be teleported to once and lasts 30 seconds, while Quantum's rift can be teleported to an infinite amount of times but only lasts 20 seconds. Quantum's third ability, and the one that qualifies him as a controller, is Dimensional Tear. You open up a map, similar to Brimstone, and mark 3 beacons on the map. Screens, similar to those like Viper's Toxic screen, minus the, toxic part, deploy between each beacon, blocking vision. The maximum distance between beacons is 15 meters. Personally, I love this ability, as it's similar enough to other controllers to be considered a smoke ability, but different enough that it makes Quantum unique. Quantum's ultimate ability is Tunneling. For 7 ultimate ability points, Quantum opens up a passage between 2 open spaces on a surface, allowing all agents, bullets, and abilities to pass through. This tunnel exists for 30 seconds. This ultimate is awesome, and possibly my favorite ability on the entire list. It completely changes the course of a round, which an ultimate is ideally supposed to do, and it fits perfectly into Quantum's general theme of confusing the enemy and forcing them into uncomfortable positions. Creating a giant hole in the wall of a map you've played for years will definitely throw you off your game. There's one glaring issue with this ultimate though. What happens if you cast it on the border of a map? From what I could find, the artist didn't address this problem, so I took it upon myself to fix it. The simple answer would be to just not allow the player to do such a thing, but that's boring. I propose that you do it similar to Pac-Man rules. In Pac-Man, if you exit the maze on either side, you teleport to the other. Why not do this with tunneling? If you ult one side of the map, have it teleport the players to the other. This could redefine how rotating works and add a whole other dimension of gameplay. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. Our number 1 spot goes to Snap by Low Coffee. This one goes out to all you photographers out there. Wielding his Radianite-powered camera, Canadian photographer Snap meticulously tips the odds in his team's favor, ensuring flawless execution. With snapshots faster than a bullet, he becomes a relentless nuisance for enemies holding angles, disrupting their plans with every click of his camera. Every one of Snap's abilities other than his ultimate start by pulling out his camera. During this time, he is vulnerable, as he can't hold a gun. His signature ability is Strobe. When you hit the ability button, you pull out your camera in suppress mode. When you click your fire button, you blind any enemy looking at you, and also capture a picture. If you hit the ability button again, any enemy in the captured image is forced to drop the weapon they are currently holding, and they are suppressed. I love this ability, but forcing the enemies to drop their weapons is a little overpowered. Having the flash and then later the suppress is fine and works fantastically. His next ability is Frame. With your camera this time in backup mode, you can take a picture of a dropped weapon, corpse, or spike, then click the ability button again to teleport the target in the captured image to your location. This could be huge in clutch situations. If you're in, let's say, a 1 vs 2 and you need a Vandal, you can bring it to you. If you need the spike in a 1v1 clutch scenario, you can bring it to you. If it's a 2 vs 4 and your Sage has res but the body of your teammate is in harm's way, you can bring the body to you. This is a really cool and versatile piece of utility that we haven't really seen in modern day Valorant. The third ability in Snap's kit is actually quite defensive. The ability is named Replace Mode. With camera in hand, you once again take a picture. All projectiles, creatures, and devices shown in the captured image are instantly replaced by a plasma beam that shoots towards the ground, creating a damaging AoE upon landing. To top it all off, Snap is the first agent to introduce time travel. This time, with a super ultra fancy spherical camera, you deploy a temporal recording field. This is the replay system. The field records all used utility, movements, and deaths of players within its radius. After recording, time swiftly rewinds, undoing all actions recorded within the field. Exiting the field erases previously recorded actions. This sounds really cool. What the artist doesn't mention is if spike diffuses, plants, or explosions are reversed. If so, whoever wins a round could change depending on what happens in that recording field the second go. This would be absolutely insane and one of the craziest ultimates yet. Overall, I love Snap's character and I could definitely see them being viable in the game. They are 100% original and every piece of utility has yet to be done in modern day Valorant. Well, that's it for today's video and today's top 3 list. Overall, this was really fun and I learned a lot about editing that I hadn't known before. If this video is a testament to anything, it's that the Valorant fan base is one of the most creative and passionate communities out of any game in our time. Maybe one day, these people who are just rattling off concepts and rambling about agents in a Valorant subreddit will one day be game designers themselves. Only the future will tell. Until then, this is Echo, and I'll see you all next time.